Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Welcome to Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It's game 2 of this 3-game series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. The Blue Jays won last night in dramatic fashion. They scored 5 runs at the top of the ninth. Josh Donaldson hit his 4th career grand slam in that 9th inning to win it 7-1 to opener. Jay Happ picked up his 2nd win of the season. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays tonight. Curtis Granderson, Josh Donaldson, 1-2 in the order. Then Justin Smoke in that 3rd spot. Smoke's off to a great start this season. His last 9 games, he's hit 400 with 7 extra base hits and down in the 5th spot. Steve Pearce, he's a hot hitter. He's homered in 3 straight games. The last guy for the Blue Jays to homer in 4 straight, Edwin Encarnacion, did it in 2015. Pearce during those 3 games, 4 for 10.
Blue Jays get Andrew Kashner tonight. The tall right-hander spent the entire 2017 season with the Texas Rangers, where he went 11-11 with a .340 earned run average. Those 11 wins were a career high for Kashner, and his .340 ERA was 9th lowest in the American League. The Orioles have one of those sneaky signs again. They signed him late. February, they picked him up as a free agent. They put him in the starting rotation. He's done a good job. 1-1 with a .409 earned run average. Last time out against the Yankees, he was exceptional.
Baltimore's always had one of the best defensive ball clubs in the game. Trey Mancini made a terrific throw last night from left field. And Tim Beckham, he's made a nice transition to 3rd base.
Caught a couple of line drives last night, taking away hits from the Blue Jays. And the first time he played 3rd base was back in 2015 versus the Blue Jays when he was a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. Right now he's a full-time 3rd baseman. Had a couple of shots at him. He was telling me today that the first time he played 3rd base, Josh Donaldson hit a 112-mile-an-hour P right at him at 3rd. He said, boy, I'm too close now. But he's going to play 3rd base full-time now for the Orioles.
He's committed just 1 error so far this season. Kashner's set. Granderson's in the box. First pitch is down for a ball, and we are underway. Curtis Granderson's done a nice job early on for the Blue Jays. 9 for 25 for his career. 3 for 11 against Kashner.
You know what he's done really well is see a lot of pitches, take a lot of pitches, work that on base percentage. That right now in 10 games at .448. Not afraid to take a strike either when he's ahead in the count.
3-0. Nothing close yet for Granderson. Kashner, 31 years old, originally a #1 pick by the Cubs. There's a strike. Taken by the Chicago Cubs out of Texas Christian University in 2008.
Strange. The first 2 pitches, Buck, he was out of the windup. In the last couple, he's been out of the stretch with nobody on base. So I guess he feels a little bit better going out of the stretch with nobody on base.
Well, he missed so badly out of the windup, he decided to make the change. A leadoff walk for Granderson. Another terrific at bat. 6 pitches for the walk. So Donaldson, he had a big swing of the bat last night in the 9th inning.
He was measuring the pitcher Cortez. And with 2 strikes, belt-high fastball, see you later. That ball on a line to center. The wind last night was knocking down a lot of balls late in the ball game. It was getting cold and windy and rainy, but he hit that one through the wind.
Not only did he hit the grand slam, he knocked Cortez Jr. right out of the big leagues. He was designated for assignment this afternoon. So Donaldson takes ball 1. Josh is 2 for 6 against Kashner. Mentioned Kashner, drafted by the Cubs. He worked in relief for the Cubs and then made a few starts. He was ultimately traded to San Diego, and that trade involved Anthony Rizzo going to Chicago. Donaldson hits it high in the air to left field. That's going to hang up for Trey Mancini. He makes the catch. Granderson retreats to first, 1 away.
Mentioned his last start against the Yankees. 6 innings, 2 hits, just 1 earned run. 5 strikeouts. This is the 3rd time that he's facing the Blue Jays in his career, but the first time as a home player. There are the numbers against the Yankees. He beat them, 3 walks. I think another under the radar signing by the Baltimore Orioles late in the offseason.
They are very good at playing the market. They will wait the market out, and they end up signing Cashner. Here's Justin Smoke. Smoke over his last 9 games, 14 for 35 with 7 extra base hits and 10 RBIs. The best start to a season in his career. Cashner's really struggling to find consistency with his release point.
Well, we noticed it right away. The first 2 pitches of the ball game, he was out of the windup, and that didn't feel comfortable at all as he missed badly. He ended up walking Granderson, but seemed to come back and get Josh. That's the pitch right there that has really improved this season for Cashner. It's like a little 2-seam fastball that he'll throw to lefties down and away. About 91 miles an hour.
Smoke always looks into a shift when he's at the plate as a left-handed hitter. There are 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. Manny Machado is the lone defender at shortstop. Beckham is near the bag at second, and the second baseman Scope is in the hole. It's over the screen out of play.
Well, if they're going to play 3 infielders on the right side, those sinkers down and away are not going to be the type of defense I think you want to have with Smoke. Smoke is not a pull hitter anymore. He can go the other way. He has good at bats. He's at his best, he feels like, when he's staying on that sinker down and away, and he's not trying to pull the ball.
3-2 pitch to Smoke. Anderson was on the move.
Cashner has been around for a while. Let's take a look at the usage so far this season. Fastball, slider, and he'll sink his fastball at times. He'll throw a changeup every now and then, a curveball. When he was younger, he used it a lot more than just 14% of the time. But it's basically fastball, slider.
That's a foul into the seats, and again, Anderson was running.
Trying to stay out of the double play.
Minerva Solarte is on deck, switch hitter. He is the DH tonight. Boy, there's a great example of what you were talking about. With Granderson running, Manny Machado, the shortstop, was covering second. That sinker ball down and away. Smoke tried to hit it to the left side of the infield.
He did. Machado was covering that time, and he's got the whole left side of the infield. Any ground ball is going to make it into the outfield. Here's the view that we have.
Strikeout. There's the throw to second. It skips, and Granderson's going to go to third. Now they lead Cashner, and he's able to make the tag. Good play by Andrew Cashner. When you play with that shift, the pitcher has to have his head up. Granderson did the right thing. He took off for third once the ball skipped past him.
Home plate umpire has called something different at the plate, and it looks like they're going to negate that out over at third base. It looked, Buck, like he was calling foul ball or something.
Well, Smoke is out. He's back in the dugout. Granderson is going to go back to first. He and Cashner checking on the health of each other as they collided at third.
Interference maybe on the swing from Smoke, negating the play at second base.
Well, the umpires are going to have a conference about this, and Buck Showalter's had more of these conferences early in the season than he wants.
Yeah, he had about 3 or 4 of these type of umpire discussions in that 4-game series that they just had in New York. And he's going to get the explanation, but I don't think he's going to like it. Right away, the home plate umpire That's Marvin Hudson. Signaled that Granderson was safe and he has to go back to first base.
Let's take a look at this play. Smoke strikes out, and then he's calling Smoke for interference on the catcher, so that is a dead ball. Smoke never really made contact with the catcher, but because he came out of the batter's box, Marvin Hudson called Smoke for interference, which stops the play. So this great play by Andrew Kashner is null and void. But by Smoke being called for interference on the catcher, that stops the play dead. Smoke strikes out. The ball is dead. Granderson stays at first. So now there are 2 outs, and Granderson's back at first after a very interesting trip around the bases.
He has a stolen base taken away from him.
But Andrew Kashner, boy, ball clubs work on this all spring long to remind the pitcher in that shift situation with the guy running, you've got to go to third.
What a heads-up play by Kashner. It looked like they were out of the inning, but pitch count will mount.
Oh, and 2.
They were sending the runner multiple times. Here's his stolen base, and he says, you know what, I think I can make it to third, but a heads-up play by Kashner guns him down, all for naught.
Kashner and Solarte were teammates with the Padres, so there are no secrets between them. Breaking ball, and Solarte strikes out. Look at him, look at him. That's a new pitch. You didn't have that one before. So Kashner gets a couple of strikeouts. Strikes out his former teammate Solarte. And there's that breaking ball. Down and in. Solarte said, what was that? That's a new pitch. He went out there and found out it was a good call by the home plate umpire Marvin Hudson. Let's take a look at the Orioles lineup. Manny Machado in that 2 spot's got a 4-game hit streak, 9 for 19 with a double, 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. He got off to a bit of a slow start. Chris Davis is really scuffling. He's hitting .088 for the season, but facing tonight's starter for the Blue Jays, Aaron Sanchez, he's hit very well, including some big-time power numbers.
Third start of the season for Aaron Sanchez. Last time out against the White Sox, 6 innings of work, including 7 strikeouts, the most since September of 2016 when he had 10 strikeouts versus this same Baltimore Oriole team. He's pitched 15 times against the Orioles in his career.
Gets ahead of Trey Mancini. Mancini drives this one to right and deep. And what a nice play by Steve Pearce out in right field. He got a good read and was able to run it down before it got to the warning truck. Aaron Sanchez appreciative of the effort.
Playing tonight, giving Randall Grichuk another night off. Tracks that ball down to right field.
Here's the rest of the defense. Granderson, Pilar, and Pierce in the outfield. And Steve Pierce was there last night, and he looks very comfortable out there early on.
He's played out there more than you think. This is his 99th game in right field in the big leagues. Was there last night. The last time before last night was in 2016. John Gibbons just wanted that hot bat to stay in the lineup.
Manny Machado takes a first pitch strike. Machado, we mentioned a 4-game hit streak. Curveball off the end of the bat. Diaz near the bag at second. 2 up, 2 down. Well, it's going to be interesting to watch Sanchez in his pitch selection tonight. There's been a lot made about his new developed changeup, and it's very good. We saw it in the first 2 starts. He used it very effectively, but Pete Walker and Russell Martin have a little bit different idea.
Well, they know that it's a good pitch for him, but you can't fall in love with it and keep throwing it. They know his bread and butter: hard fastball, hard sinker, big curveball. And then the third pitch, and it is your third pitch, is your changeup. I think if you want to develop as a pitcher like Aaron has over the last couple of years, you have to have that third pitch, and he finally has it. But Pete knows, and you know, we all know that his best pitch is that good hard sinking fastball and breaking ball.
Scope gets hit by a pitch. He was hit by a pitch in last night's game, but this one actually hit him. They won last night and hit his jersey. So he'll go to first. He was hit by that pitch in the 5th inning by Jay Happ. It was a 2-out hit by pitch.
In his last start against the White Sox, he was getting on the side of the ball a lot. That one just scrapes his jersey once again, just like last night's ball. But in his last start against the White Sox, he was getting on the side of the ball, and the ball was going sideways instead of going down. Spent the time working on staying over the rubber just a little bit longer to make sure that hand stays on top of the ball and you get good sink.
Adam Jones, he's just 3 for 26 against Aaron Sanchez. Obviously, they have faced one another a lot. Jones off to a decent start. 3 homers and 7 ribbies.
Adams been playing against the Blue Jays for a long time. You and I have been calling his name a long time. You have to go back to 2006. His first big league game was against none other than the Blue Jays. July of 2006. I was asking him about it today. He says, oh yeah, I remember that day. Casey Jansen. Faced Casey Jansen, his first big league at bat.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Martin's not sure where it is, but Scope stays put at first. Adam Jones in his 13th season with the Orioles, a free agent at the end of this year.
What a player. What a career he has put together. And it all blossomed after he left the Seattle Mariners and came here. 5-time All-Star.
It was a very lopsided trade when you think about it. It happened in February of 2008. They got Adam Jones, Chris Tillman, George Sherrill, Cam Nicolaio, and Tony Butler, all for Eric Bedard. One player.
One player who was coming off a great year, too, for the Baltimore Orioles.
They got him picked up. Scope got over anxious, and now he's in a rundown, and they will finally tag him out. But Scope broke. Sanchez held the ball, and the inning is over. So Sanchez faces the minimum in the bottom of the first.
after he suffered that grade 1 strain to his right hamstring yesterday. It was when he was nearing first base that Morales first felt it, slowing down. Now the Blue Jays don't believe it'll be a long-term issue. Matter of fact, Morales is scheduled to take batting practice in Cleveland after the off day on Thursday. There was serious consideration given to not even DLing Morales, but Mother Nature plays a part in this. They have outdoor games in Cleveland and then New York coming up, so they're erring on the side of caution. Morales said, "I'm seeing the ball pretty well. I don't want to stop swinging." He said, "I'll continue to do my work, even with my leg hurting." Guys.
Yeah, it's not thought to be very serious, but given the fact they're going to play 3 more games out in Cleveland, and then after a short stint at home, they go to New York for 4 games, so everything's outdoors. You want to make sure he's 100% before you run him back out there. Steve Pearce goes after the first pitch. He grounds out to shortstop. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the second. The injury to Morales has been characterized as a grade 1 strain. What does that mean?
It's mild. You know, there's really 3 different forms of it: a grade 1, a 2, and a 3. And grade 1 is the mildest, and they can tell that it's a grade 1 by doing some tests. When he went back in there, they'll do some tests on the leg. They'll stretch it out. He'll tell them how it feels. At times you can feel like a little divot inside your leg there. If it's really bad, that means that it's really torn apart there. But they feel like through the testing and the strength testing and everything else, it's just a mild strain, and it should take 10 days to 2 weeks for him to heal completely.
Russell Martin takes a breaking ball, 2-0.
That's unfortunate because it looked like he was starting to swing the bat like we know he can. And watching him run up the line, he looked great.
He just felt it after he was on first base and came back to the bag. He had a single in his only at bat last night and then had to come out of the game. That was in the second inning.
You know where you feel those? The hamstring. The hamstrings, they're like the brakes of your legs. As he started to slow down and make his turn around first base, that's where he felt it. And then when he tried to go back. So if your hamstrings aren't working, it's like a car that doesn't have the brakes working.
The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Martin draws a 1-out walk. Second walk so far issued by Andrew Kastner. Kevin Pillar. Kevin was 1 for 3 last night. Hit a ball sharply right to the third baseman. He scored a run in that 5-run 9th inning. Pillar 11 for 40 so far this season. He has 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, and driven in 3. When you look at Kastner, you expect maybe a little bit better record, but his stuff is pretty good. 11 wins last year, as Pat mentioned, that's a career high. Breaking ball pulled through the left side. He hung it there. Pillar jumped all over it. Martin goes to second. It's a first hit for the Blue Jays.
Same pitch that he threw to Solarte to get out of the first inning. You can see it's like a spike curve or knuckle curve where he puts that index finger, the knuckle on it, and that helps him spin the ball with his middle finger. But that time, too much of the plate with 2 strikes. And Pillar has become a pretty good off-speed hitter.
So with runners at first and second, Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position for Devin Travis, the number 8 hitter. Travis goes after the first pitch and pops it playable. Davis over near the stands makes the catch. So Travis, anxious, went after the first pitch and pops out to the first baseman. This is where Kastner really shines. Last year, in 2017, he held opponents to a 170 batting average with runners in scoring position. That was the lowest in the majors.
Think about that. That's a lot of base runners that are left out there because you can bear down and make pitches when you have to, but a 170 batting average with runners in scoring position, very impressive.
Diaz goes after the first pitch. It gets even better with runners in scoring position in 2 outs. Opposing hitters went just 3 for 59 last year. A 0.51 batting average. So Cashner, as many times he gets in trouble, he pitches out of it. 0-1 to Diaz. Aledmus was 1 for 4 last night. Bouncing ball, big hop for Machado. Takes his time, and that ends the inning. Cashner once again pitching well with runners in scoring position. Strands a pair. Let's take a look at his changeup usage, Pat. It's improved dramatically over the last 3 seasons.
It could be because he's using it a lot more. We talked about him using it. Well, we're going to show you the numbers. In 2017, 6.7% of the time, he threw a changeup. First start, 19%. Last time, almost 32% of the time, he used that changeup. Now he's getting strike percentage. That's gone up. Swing percentage has gone up also. And it might have been it's because they were facing the Chicago White Sox, a very good fastball hitting team and a young team. But I think Aaron will, over the course of the season, those numbers will skew back down to where they normally will be.
Adam Jones goes after a breaking ball, hits it a mile high. Donaldson coming down from third, has to wait for it, makes the catch in foul ground. That was a high breaking ball that Sanchez threw to Jones. Jones was at the plate in the first inning when Jonathan Scope was caught stealing. So he got a second look at Sanchez and was swinging at that first pitch.
Yeah, that's a good pitch. He can really spin a breaking ball. It's hard. And the reason he was trying to get that changeup in there and has been working on that changeup to get in there is just to take something off, give something a different speed to the hitters to look at.
Pedro Alvarez, the DH. Hit right to Smoke. May have broken his bat as Smoke steps on the bag. 2 up, 2 down.
That looked like the changeup right there, and a perfect time to throw it. 1-0, fastball hitter sitting on the fastball, so you change it up. Look at the grip in the glove. Those 2 fingers. Just it's like a 2-seamer that's going to go down and away. Might have broken the bat of Alvarez, but you see how far out in front he is. Can't get anything on that swing. Good time to use the changeup.
Yeah, it did break his bat. In fact, Russell Martin had to clean up some chips out in front of home plate that flew off the bat handle. This is Chris Davis. And Davis, as we mentioned, has good numbers against Sanchez, a .381 average with 2 doubles and 4 career home runs against him.
Boy, he really softened up that changeup that time, just 87 miles an hour. Marvin's going to have to walk that one off.
Yeah, and he got hit in the cup, and everybody's out there to console. He's getting some sympathy from Russell Martin, and certainly this will not be counted as a mound visit.
Right. They're not going to take one of those off the scoreboard, this mound visit.
Marvin's saying, talk as long as you want to, boys. I will not charge you with a mound visit. There's the sign, too. He turned around just to make sure. No mound visit. That's on me. So it's a ball and a strike. And here's the sign. No mound visit. None. And once again, no mound visit. Breaking ball in the dirt. We mentioned Davis is struggling mightily last night after a strikeout against Happ. He shattered his bat over his knee. He's just 3 for 34 with 9 strikeouts. That's a .088 batting average.
He also tried to bunt for a base hit in last night's game, trying to get that average up. Well, we've talked about how strong Chris Davis is and the frustration mounting against Jay Happ. Slider down and away, and now he's going to let it all hang out. Right over the knee.
Sanchez strikes out Davis with a good breaking ball. 3 up, 3 down. Easy inning for Aaron Sanchez. He's off to a good start tonight in Baltimore.
MBJ 8146 to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and the code must be entered by 4 a.m.
Another cool night here. Not as cool as last night, but and one thing, certainly no misty rain. Curtis Granderson drew a first inning walk-off. Andrew Kashner walked him on a 3-2 pitch. At the bottom of the strike zone, it's 1-1. Kashner has pitched very well against the American League East. This is his 13th career start against AL East teams. He's got a 6-3 record with a very impressive .254 earned run average. You made a great point, Pat, about the Orioles being the masters of the late season signs. They have done it for years and done it very well.
from Nelson Cruz a couple of seasons ago. Andrew Kashner and Alex Cobb this year.
Curveball lifted into shallow left field. Here comes Mancini. Can't get there. Granderson has another hit. It's his 10th hit of the season. A leadoff single.
Well, he figured something out in 2017. The earned run average in 16 was over 5. Last year it was 340, the 9th lowest in the American League. And you're pitching in Texas, which is a great hitter's ballpark. But he's sinking his fastball a little bit more this year, splitting his fingers a little bit and getting a good sink to it. So he's getting a share of ground ball outs.
Josh Donaldson with Granderson at first. Donaldson flying out to left field. He has homered against Kashner in a first inning home run at Rogers Center back in 2016. Kashner was with the Padres at that time. In fact, Donaldson and Smoke both went deep against Kashner in that game. .39-46 for his career. Kashner is, and it just doesn't seem like that. Seems like he's got better stuff than that.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that he's got a losing record in the big leagues, but he played on some bad teams for a while. I think that's part of the reason why. I think you put him on a really good team, and I think Baltimore is a really good team. He's going to have a good year.
Donaldson now with a 2-2 count, loosening up those shoulders. Well, they're going to get Alex Cobb back soon. He is going to come up and make a rehab start here in Bowie in Double-A. Breaking ball hit up the middle. Scope. Nice play. Machado steps on the bag and throws it past Davis. But the catcher, Francisco, backs up the play. Donaldson is safe at first. Davis is going to tag him out just in case he didn't step on the base.
There was a little bit of a collision at second base, but Curtis Granderson did everything correctly in the new slide rule at second base. Go right into the bag. He did. Manny Machado was standing there. Looked like it had a chance to go up the middle, but Scope is there. And the wild throw over to first base allows Donaldson to stay right there. Watch the play around the bag. Granderson goes right into the bag and somewhat breaks up that double play.
And a drive deep to center. Jones is on the run. He's going to make the catch on the warning track. Donaldson had gotten all the way to the bag at second. He retreats to first. Smoke gave it a ride.
I think if he hits that ball in the summertime, it's 2-0 Blue Jays. But because it's April, it's cold, it's damp, that ball is not going anywhere.
Andrew Kashner says, I don't want that ball anymore. He hit it too hard.
He also hit it to the biggest part of the ballpark. 410 out there.
2 outs for Yerneris Solarte. He was called out on strikes his first time up. And a good rip at that first pitch fastball. Solarte has a 9-game walk streak. Excuse me, he has a 6-game walk streak with 9 walks. He had really done a good job of making the pitchers throw strikes. Donaldson thought about it, but it didn't go far enough for him to advance.
Respect in that cleanup spot for the Blue Jays. Some respect. Probably going to have some runners on base, so pitchers being very careful with them. Credit to Solarte to be very selective and wait for a pitch to hit.
Another fastball upstairs. We had mentioned in his first at bat, Solarte and Kashner were teammates with the Padres. Cashner started his career with the Cubs. That's the pitch he was called out on in the first inning. 3-1, now 2 outs. Donaldson's at first. Top of the third. JD reached on a fielder's choice. Little flare into right field. And goes there. Santander makes the catch. Solarte's retired. The inning is over. The Blue Jays get a single strand to run it. Go to the bottom of the third. Their ERA since 2016. Aaron Sanchez has the best earned run average on the Blue Jays starting staff.
Well, he led the American League in earned run average in 2016, missed a big portion of 2017. So it's imperative that he stays healthy and he's on the mound for the Blue Jays, because when he pitches, the numbers bear it out right there. A 330 earned run average over the last 2 seasons, the best of this starting rotation.
Last season was a write-off. He made 8 starts, and he was really never healthy for any of those 8 starts. Just over 30 innings of work. Beckham goes after the first pitch. It's an on-1 hop to Diaz. Well, there's one thing that I didn't see in spring training is the arm strength of the shortstop. Diaz has got a good arm.
In fact, the 3 new infielders that the Blue Jays picked up in the offseason, Solarte, and Gope and Diaz, all have very good arms. So if they have to rush and get into their spot, you can see he's taking a look at his scouting card, see where to play. When he's got to make that long throw, you're going to see them start to get those guys out. Very impressive arms.
This is the right fielder, Anthony Santander. He's late on that fastball. Santander had a rough night last night, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Jay Happ kept elevating that fastball against Santander.
There's a good changeup, and notice the difference in the velocity. That was 87 miles an hour. That's a little bit more to where he wants it.
I call it softening up, and it's like he's starting to soften up that changeup just a little bit more. Before, he was throwing it too hard, 90, 91 mile an hour changeup. He's starting to get it.
Threw it again. Came right back with it. That's a pretty good pitch when you can throw it back to back and get a strikeout. 2 up, 2 down for Aaron.
And you know what the most important thing is? There's the grip, those 2 fingers. Watch the movement down and away. That is a nasty sink to that changeup. It's almost like a left-handed slider. It's moving so much.
Number 9 hitter is Chance Cisco, the young catcher. Cisco making his 5th start of the season. He's a rookie. Actually made his big league debut against the Blue Jays last year as a defensive replacement, hits this ball right to Travis. 3 up, 3 down. Aaron Sanchez has faced the minimum. The only batter that reached Jonathan Scope. Hit by a pitch. He was caught stealing.
Cup playoffs. The Jets and the Wild. Game 1 coverage begins 6:30 Eastern on Sportsnet. Paul Romanek, Gary Galley, Cassie Campbell-Pascal, and Scott Oak will have it for you. The Wild and the Jets. Buck, I know you're excited for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I sure am. It's a great time, and obviously we're going to have some great matchups, and the Leafs and the Bruins will match up in the first round. It's going to be terrific, and we'll have all that coverage for you on Sportsnet. Paul Romanek doing that. Winnipeg. Jim Houston is going to be calling the Leafs series against the Bruins. No score. 4th inning. Steve Pearce to lead things on. Pearce has homered in 3 straight games. He's never homered in 4 in a row. And the last Blue Jay to homer in 4 in a row, Edwin Encarnacion, back in 2015.
Last night it came out a 3-0 pitch. He had the green light, and he rewarded his manager with that home run. Came out of spring training swinging the bat really well. They wanted to keep his bat in the lineup. I think the most important thing is he's healthy. Last year he battled a lot of injuries, especially in spring training. Didn't get enough at bats in spring training and started off on a cold streak and really never got things going except for that 1 week where he hit a couple of grand slams.
Fly ball to center field. Jones has got room. He makes the catch. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. First time these two teams have matched up this season, and what a pitching matchup. Luis Severino and Chris Sale. And they have gotten to Severino.
First time they're matching up with new managers also.
Kind of interesting. The first time since '92 that the Red Sox and the Yankees will meet with 2 new managers. They both have new managers. The last time manager for the Yankees was Buck Showalter. Showalter managed the Yankees. That was in '92, and the Boston manager was Butch Hobson. So Buck, that was his first year as a manager, and he has been managing just about every season since. Up the middle, Cashner kicks at it, stays on it, bobbles it, and still has time to get Russell Martin. Martin knew he had a chance for a base hit. He was going as fast as he could up the first baseline. Cashner's feeling the impact of it now. He's limping around behind the mound, and the training staff's going to come out.
Just give him some time to try and walk it off. This is base hit all the way, but Cashner kicks at it. It's like it might have hit him on the ankle bone. Bobbled it momentarily, but throws a strike over to first base. Chris Davis is an excellent first baseman. And that ball did not handcuff him at all. I think that's your natural reaction, is to kick your foot out there to try and slow the ball down and try and get the out. But it looks like it caught him flush.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it hit him, but he's feeling the impact of it. Roger McDowell, Buck Showalter are out there. Let's have another look at it.
Maybe the outside of his foot. You just kick at it, your natural reaction, and now he's going to realize what happened, and he's going to try and walk it off.
You know, your adrenaline takes over after the ball hits your foot. He got on it, throws Russell Martin out, but now more concerned about whether or not he's okay. He's still limping around pretty good.
That is the push-off foot, the right foot, where he anchors all of his weight as he gets ready to let go of that pitch. Cold night also, I think, doesn't do it any favors.
Kevin Pillar had a base hit his first time up. Takes his strike. Pillar hit a breaking ball through left side of the infield into left field. The cutter there off the end of the bat. Blue Jays have 2 hits, 2 singles. Pillar's single in the second, Granderson's single in the third.
This is exactly where he singled. 0-2. He hung him a curveball. Now he wanted that curveball. You can see Chance Sisco saying, "Give it to me off the plate. If you bounce it, don't worry about it. I'll block it for you. Just don't hang it."
Popped up. Machado coming in and makes the catch at shortstop. Quick inning for Andrew Castner. The only concern now is how that foot will feel after he sits down. He's still limping off the field. Rough start. They lost their first 2 games to the New York Yankees and were 0-2, and then they turned things around dramatically. 7-2 since, and everything has improved.
Yeah, and the biggest part are the runs scored. You score some runs, they have the second highest rank American League, averaging 6 runs a game, and they're hitting with runners in scoring position. I'll tell you, it makes any manager smart when your team scores 6 runs a game. And you've got the type of starting pitching that the Blue Jays have. You're going to win your share of games.
Aaron Sanchez sets up as the number 2 starter as we speak. There's a good breaking ball, but it missed. 1-1 to Trey Mancini, who flied out to right field his first time up.
Says he likes hitting leadoff. Hit it a few times last year. He just likes playing and hitting leadoff now, and he's done a good job for the Orioles.
When you think about it, you only lead off once a game. Yeah, he's a good hitter. He's off to a good start. Has a double and a home run. He's driven in 4.
Might be the biggest leadoff hitter that we have seen. I don't think we saw Judge in the regular season, right? We saw him in spring training.
Did it in spring training, right?
He hit leadoff in spring training, but Trey Mancini's a big guy, and if you don't make your pitches, he can lose the ball in a hurry.
Fly ball deep to center. Pilar's on the run at the track and makes a catch up against the wall. So Mancini has hit the ball hard twice tonight. His first at bat, he drove Pierce deep to right field. This time he takes Pilar right to the wall in deep right center. He's got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, he was on base in last night's game 4 different times. Could easily be 2 for 2 tonight, but the Blue Jay outfielders run down the ball. Pilar, you can see him concentrating, keeping his eye on that ball all the way to the wall. Aaron Sanchez appreciates that, but that's what I mean about if you don't make your pitches to a leadoff hitter like that, he can knock it out of the ballpark.
Pilar really banged up hard against that wall after he made the catch. Manny Machado. Boy, there's another one, 86. It's getting softer and softer.
Yeah, he's starting to get the feel. I mean, the real feel for a changeup. You don't want to slow your arm down. Then you give it away. What you have to do is you got to jam that ball back in there and just throw it as hard as you can so it simulates like you're throwing a fastball.
Three in a row. Missed badly with the last 2.
Now you got to come in. Russell wanted fastball away, and Aaron shook him off.
That's a strike. Didn't get the call. Marvin Hudson thought it was upstairs. First walk for the Orioles.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Utah Street up beyond the fence and right here at Oriole Park in Camden Yards. Jonathan Schoop was hit by a pitch his first time up. Schoop just 10 for 50 in the early going. Drove in 105 runs last year, had a real breakthrough season.
Good pitch right down at the bottom of the knees. Schoop is just turning into a good hitter. Struggling right now to get his season going.
Bouncing ball. Diaz at short, goes to second for 1, back to first, not in time. Diaz did a good job of going into the hole. It's going to be tough to double up Schoop, so they get the lead runner at second, Machado.
And that's where the arm shows off. We were talking about Diaz's arm earlier. He can get that ball over to Devin Travis quicker. Gives him a good throw, but you're just not going to get Scopey runs too well. Good hard right over the top and right over the bag. Good play.
2 outs, Adam Jones. Boy, that pitch right there, that's the money pitch for Sanchez in my mind. Down and away, strike one. It sets up the entire at bat. Sanchez looked like he had second thoughts about that
a little
pitch.
indecision. It looked like it was going to be a changeup to Adam Jones, and he did the right thing, stepping off. He seems under control tonight. His body's under control and letting him throw the baseball where he wants to.
They go back to the fastball.
Right there.
Can't hit that.
No. With the type of movement that he's getting, I've been noticing the miles per hour, and I've seen 92, 93, so he's not overthrowing where we've seen 96, 97 in the past. That's what I mean about his body seems to be under control and letting the arm work.
Now there's a changeup in the same spot. So you can imagine a hitter. He sees 93, 93 out there down and away, and then he throws that changeup in the same spot. You don't have much of a chance.
And it messes up your timing just a little bit and some movement. Now a little high four-seam fastball. 3 pitches that have been down and away. Let's change the eye plane of the hitter now and throw a high fastball.
You can do a lot of things right here. It's 0-2. You can go upstairs. You can throw him a breaking ball. You haven't seen that yet in this at bat. Little chopper toward third. Donaldson fires across the diamond in time. Sanchez gets out of it. The Orioles leave a base runner. No score after 4 here in Baltimore. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio.
App, you can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get your Blue Jays home screen icons and features such as MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. The Game of the Day, Buck, in Chicago. Sister Jean of Loyola Chicago men's basketball fame. She threw out the opening pitch at Wrigley.
How cool is that? Wrigley, their opening day was snowed out yesterday. They opened up on the road and finally had an opener.
How'd they do today? Oh, they lost.
Pittsburgh. You can't beat Pittsburgh right now. The Pirates, they're not 8-2.
8-2. Pirates.
Upstairs, it's 1-2 to Devin Travis. Travis popped out to the first baseman in foul territory his first time up. Strike 3 call. That come back fastball caught the outside corner. Third strikeout for Cashner. The Blue Jays made a roster move today. They disabled Kendrys Morales, and that is Tim Meza, who has just arrived. Literally, you can see him being welcomed by his bullpen mates. Meza was with the Blue Jays all spring long, and he had not pitched yet in Buffalo. They've only played one game, so he has made his way down into the bullpen, and that one hurt. Right on the back of the elbow. Aledmus Diaz will go to first.
You could hear that one all the way up here. That fastball roaring in on his elbow. Cashner trying to throw that fastball. There's the sink. And that's why you could hear it all the way up here. He's got an elbow pad on.
Might have hit him more in the ribs than in the elbow.
Yep, I think you're right.
So back to the top of the order. Curtis Granderson has been on base twice. He walked and singled. Ripped foul. Granderson's off to a good start this year. The hit he had in the third inning, his 10th hit so far this season. He's drawn 4 walks, now 5 with the walk in the first.
That's why John Gibbons has him hitting in that leadoff spot. High on base percentage. He's spent most of his career in the leadoff position. He looks comfortable. For that first home run of the season. I think he's going to hit his share of home runs for the Blue Jays.
Curtis hit a home run his first at bat in spring training. And a good spring. And he's carried that right into the regular season. There's a good changeup there. 83 miles an hour.
Now with 2 strikes, you can see he's choked up on that bat to get a little bit more back control. Look at that. He's way up there now.
That's going to be into the seats out of play. You know, you're seeing this more and more around baseball. Randall Grichuk chokes up on the barrel. Joey Votto, of course, a great hitter with the Reds. He chokes up a lot. Anthony Rizzo with the Cubs chokes up on the bat handle, and Granderson's doing the same right now. Better back control. There's no question about it.
Yeah, better back control. He doesn't want to strike out here. Striking out, you see him check his grip right there. Strikeouts do nothing to advance the runner or put the pressure on the defense.
Cashner crosses him up and finds that inside corner with the fastball. 2 away.
Hurry into Home Hardware Spring Scratch and Save event to save big for 2 days only on April 13th and 14th. Here's how.
Beautiful setting just outside Oriole Park in Camden Yards. No score. We're in the top of the 5th. Donaldson is 0 for 2. There have only been 2 hits in the game, and the Blue Jays have them both. For some reason, these 2 ball clubs that are first and second in home runs over the last several years don't score many runs when they play each other. Last year they averaged just under 7 runs per game when they met up. The Jays averaged 3.16 runs per 9 innings last year against Baltimore.
That held up last night, didn't it? Run scoring on home runs. Donaldson had a grand slam. Pierce had a 2-run home run. And Machado had a home run. So there were 8 runs scored in the game. 7 of them came via the home run.
2 balls and no strikes to Donaldson. Now it's 3-0.
Well, they let him go last night, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Steve Pearce 3-0, and he clobbered one out of here for a home run.
Cashner was aware of that. He walks Donaldson on 4 pitches. 3rd walk issued by Cashner. He's also hit a batter. Oh, Smoke, he hit one deep to center field his last time up. Andrew Jones ran it down right in front of the Orioles bullpen in deep center field. Two away. The Blue Jays 0 for 2 so far tonight in these situations with runners in scoring position.
Time to keyhole him right here. Look for a certain pitch in your area. What you don't want to do is get a little bit anxious here and overswing. Just concentrate on getting that lower half going, catching that ball out front. Nice changeup.
2-0 changeup. That's what you get when you hit 38 home runs.
Yeah, you're not going to get many cookies anymore. They're not going to just lay it in there for you.
Ball to left field. Mancini waits, comes in, and makes a grab. Cashner has pitched tough when he's got runners in scoring position. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Still no score here in Baltimore.
After the bad luck, the bad ABs, the bad go lately, it just felt good to get a knock. Now, part of it mental for Grichuk, but also a mechanical adjustment. Last night, he stood a little more upright in the box, which is what the Blue Jays wanted. You can see a slight difference from the at-bats earlier in the season. Grichuk said, I was a little too crouched. I was coming up in my swing. He was feeling that that may have caused more fly balls than line drives, and now Grichuk says, I'm upright more, which means he is trying to get that timing down because of the somewhat modification of his stance.
Randall Grichuk played for the Cardinals, and when the Blue Jays and Cardinals played in Montreal, Brooke Jacoby was watching how the Cardinals pitched to Randall Grichuk, and they threw him a lot of high fastballs, and because of that, he kind of convinced him, hey, just raise that stance up a little bit, get out of that crouch a little bit, and you'll free yourself up and be able to get to that pitch.
Free yourself up, your bat becomes a little bit quicker. He showed in that double in last night's game.
Grichuk did not start in this game, but if it's a low-scoring game again, you can bet he'll be in for defense later on. Pedro Alvarez takes one upstairs. It's a ball and a strike. Alvarez grounded out to the first baseman his first time up.
Well, I really like how he is changing speeds with his pitches. Fastball with some movement, changeup with some movement, dropping a curveball in there every now and then.
Another good pitch. That's a tough pitch for an umpire for a couple of reasons. The catcher moves inside to give the inside target. The batter's standing close to the box, and there's not much room for the umpire to get a good look at that inside corner. And then the ball starts off the plate and breaks back over the plate. There's a lot going on there.
Got to really stay with it and know that pitcher's got a lot of movement.
Full count to Alvarez. Chris Davis is on deck. Call strike 3. Another very good changeup from Sanchez. That's his third strikeout of the ball game.
You know, we have talked for a couple of years now about, you know, when pitchers start to feel like they can throw a BP fastball, good things are going to happen, and that's what that changeup basically is. It's got some movement on it, but you just change the speed of it. It's like a BP fastball, and it just, Alvarez just didn't know what to do.
Chris Davis struck out on a breaking ball back in the second. Another pitch just off the plate inside. You're right, and that's a good characterization. That's a BP fastball. That is the pitch that you can just throw up there with confidence that it's going to be slow enough, and then you come back with 92, 6 miles an hour harder, and Davis is in between.
Yeah, and he can't let it go because he is fooled by the speed of the pitch.
Breaking ball, he checked his swing. The best I ever saw at throwing that BP fastball was Dave Steele. And I would never give him a sign for it. He would throw it off the fastball, and he could flip it up there better than anybody. And it was just he called it a dead fish.
The dead fish. He did it on his own?
Yeah.
And you could see it okay?
He was terrific. It was a great pitch, and it really baffled the hitters. 3-2 to Davis. He takes ball 4. We're going to go back and look at the first at bat of this inning when Pedro Alvarez strikes out, and watch the movement of all these pitches.
Now, you think hitting is hard? How about this? Watch where it's up, down, in, out, moving all over the place. You got to cover so much of the strike zone, it makes it almost impossible to hit.
And that's a great illustration how all of those pitches are in the strike zone, but they take a dramatic route to get there. Tim Beckham, the third baseman, hit a ground out to short his first time up. Beckham just 9 for 47 so far this season. He struck out 18 times. Aaron is in such a much better rhythm tonight than he was in either of his first 2 starts. And I think possibly he had so much adrenaline to make up for the lost season a year ago. He was just over anxious to get things done.
Timing is so important for pitchers in their windup. Tonight he's under control. He's got command of his body.
Little pop up out into right field. Travis going out, and he makes a catch. What an effort by Devin Travis. Pierce was coming in. He had a long way to go, and Travis never hesitated. Turned and ran toward the outfield. Made a terrific catch over the shoulder. Pierce wasn't going to get there.
No, he didn't get a good read on it, but Devin did, and he's going to go as hard as he can until the outfielder calls him off. You can see Pierce is playing deep. And the best part about this play on top of the catch is nobody got hurt as Pierce got just out of the way. Aaron knew that this was going to be a tough one out into right field, and he's saying, come on, second baseman, come on, Devin, pick me up. And he does. Great play.
Anthony Santander, the right fielder. He goes after the first pitch, pops it up. This is going to be a much easier play for Travis, right near the bag at seconds. Sanchez is out of the inning. 5 complete, no score here in Baltimore. Aaron Sanchez has been dealing tonight. 3 strikeouts. Have the upper hand for sure early in this ball game. Andrew Kashner has allowed just 2 hits. He's walked 3 but struck out 4. He's thrown 79 pitches. Aaron Sanchez and Kashner are locked in a pitcher's duel.
Blue Jays have had their chances. They've left 6 runners on base through 5 innings. Looking for a clutch hit. Had 2 base runners on in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th inning. Haven't been able to cash them in yet.
That is the MO for Andrew Kashner. We mentioned last year he held opponents to a 170 batting average with runners in scoring position.
And to put that into perspective, the major league average hitters hitting with runners in scoring position is 237. So nearly 70 points below the major league average.
Blue Jays are 0 for 3 tonight with runners in scoring position. And Nervis Solarte is 0 for 2. He struck out in the 1st. Kashner got him on a curveball. His first time up. Pierce is waiting on deck. He's 0 for 2. Lots of offers in this game on both sides of the diamond. Full count. Pierce will be next. Drill to right field. That's going to get down in front of Santander. Solarte's got some words for his former teammate.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's Utah Street beyond the right field fence here at Oriole Park at Camden Yard. Leadoff man aboard. Third time in 6 innings they've had the leadoff runner reach, but they've not been able to cross home plate.
Got to bring him around. That was a high changeup that Solarte tomahawked into right field. Blue Jays have a hot hitter at the plate right now, Steve Pearce.
And a 3-game hit streak, but over the course of those 3 games, he's homered in each of the 3 games.
All 3 home runs. Basically carbon copies of fastballs out over the plate that he's able to get into. So he's got to get himself into a fastball count against Cashner, get one, and he hasn't missed it.
Fastball count here, 2 balls and a strike. Cashner wants the appeal to first. First base umpire Quinn Wilcott said no swing, so it's 3-1 now. Cashner has been very good at not throwing those fastballs in fastball counts.
Yeah, that was another changeup that he was riding in on him. This pitch, I think, will tell a lot. He got a fastball, and it was up, and he had a home run swing.
Might have been out in front of it. Full count. Blue Jays in a similar situation. Started the runner earlier with Granderson at first. Solarte singled to start the inning. Full count. See if they start the runner at first. There he goes. Pierce fouls it off. They had him on the move.
And that's the right thing to do. You have to be aggressive in a 0-0 game in the 6th inning. You got to force the action. You're hoping maybe a first to third, open up a hole on the infield where a ground ball sneaks through.
Scott Gibbons has done a nice job of staying out of the double plays by starting that runner. There he goes again. Cut on and miss. Throw to second, and it's a good one. So this time it backfires. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. For Chance Sisco did a nice job of staying patient. Took his time and threw a strike to second base. That's the 3rd base runner he's caught so far this season.
In 6 attempts, nifty 50%. They went back to the slider, and he knew that that runner, he was playing it more like a hit and run over at first base, so he knew he had some time to come up and fire a strike. So just like that, leadoff single is wiped off the bases.
Martin hits a high fly ball that's going to be caught. Jones in center field is there, and the leadoff single. The Blue Jays can't do anything with it. Cashner threw 6 innings. He's held the Blue Jays to 3 hits. The Orioles still looking for their first hit off Eric Sanchez. making his third start of the season, and this by far is his best start.
Yeah, he's mixing in a few more curveballs, but when you watch him operate tonight, he is under control. Yeah, he's throwing that changeup that he's really perfected now through this season, but he's under control. The body's under control. He's not rushing out there. Everything's down in the strike zone. Just 58 pitches for Aaron through 5 innings. 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Yeah, this is what the Blue Jays were hoping to see from Aaron Sanchez in 2018.
I think they all realized it was just a matter of time. I think he was just over anxious in his first 2 starts. Tonight he's had terrific tempo and rhythm all game long. Number 9 hitter is Chance Sisco. Takes the first pitch strike. Breaking ball off the plate.
Watching him operate tonight, it's a great lesson that throwing the ball harder doesn't necessarily mean better. We've seen 96 to 98 in the past, but Wild today he's under control. Everything is right where he wants it to be.
That last changeup, he kind of accelerated his delivery and didn't throw it as effectively as they had been all night long. Three and one.
That's one of the messages that Pete Walker was talking about today, that he was, for Aaron, it's about staying over the rubber just a little bit longer, letting your arm catch up to your body and work together. There's a great 3-1 changeup, 85 miles an hour. When you do that, when you stay together just a little bit longer, everything works together and you can throw the pitch where you need to.
Sanchez upset that he walked the number 9 man. That's the 3rd walk. He's also hit a batter. Trey Mancini's had the best at bats against Sanchez tonight. His first at bat, he lined a shot in right that Pierce had to make a running catch on. His second at bat in the 4th, he drove Kevin Pillar to the wall in center. He's had 2 good at bats. Hits this ball hard to center again. And Pillar is going to make another catch. Trey Mancini has hit the ball hard 3 times. He's got nothing to show for it.
Reading bats and reading at bats. The outfielders took a couple of steps back when Mancini got to the plate, and it paid off for him. Pillar didn't have to go as far that time to run that one down in center field.
So Manny Machado will step in with a runner at first. The Blue Jays have turned 16 ground ball double plays. It's been a terrific defensive weapon for them all year. And a nice job of capitalizing on this ground ball staff. Machado hits it to Travis. This should be number 17, and it is. A ground ball double play. Aaron Sanchez is through 6 innings. No score. The Orioles still don't have a hit.
Start time next Wednesday at the Rogers Center, but if you show up, you get one of those back-to-back World Series sweatshirt. That's when the Blue Jays play the Royals. The first 20,000 fans will go back in time to the glory days. BlueJays.com for tickets.
Aaron Sanchez and Andrew Kashner have locked horns here tonight. He's talking about that changeup that he threw to walk the number 9 hitter, Chance Cisco. And Aaron has been in total command tonight.
Like he was saying, I flew open just a little bit on that one pitch and it got away from me.
Pilar rips it to left field. So he's aboard to start the inning. Another leadoff man reaches for the Blue Jays. Now they got to capitalize on it. Kevin is 2 for 3.
Jumped all over that first pitch fastball from Kashner. Fastball that looked like he was trying to sink it, but it didn't sink. Ripped it into left field, and now Jays have some choices to make here. You got your best base stealer over at first base.
Fourth time they have had the leadoff man on. Miguel Castro, the former Blue Jay, starting to loosen up for the Orioles. He's working out of the pen. Pilar is 3 for 3 in steals.
They definitely think something is up. Blue Jays can hit and run. They can let Devin Travis go ahead and swing away if they want to. They could try and start Pilar. There's a lot of options right now for the Jays on the table.
Not running. There's a first pitch start. Travis is 0 for 2. He was called out on strikes his last time up. Hit and run plays right into Travis's hand. That's when he's best, when he hits the ball to right. Not running here.
He was trying to go that way.
Kashner has now the Blue Jays to 4 hits. They've all been singles. 2 by Pilar. Solarte singled and Granderson singled. Number 9 hitter Ledmus Diaz is on deck. Blue Jays just haven't been able to capitalize after getting their leadoff men on.
Pilar looked like he was leaning. I don't know if he was anticipating him going home or if he was leaning to try and steal a base. What you want to do as a base stealer is try and pick on a slow curveball. Get a feel for that breaking ball from Kastner and help him to try and steal.
This is another fly ball down the right side. It's going to be out of play. Chance Cisco, the catcher, threw out Solarte in the 6th. It was a 3-2 count. Solarte moving on the pitch. Cisco made a terrific throw to throw him out. He's now caught 3 of 6 base stealers so far this season. Kyra's called out for a second time, having some words with the home plate umpire Marvin Hudson.
Hurry into Home Hardware's Spring Scratch and Save event to save big for 2 days only on April 13th and 14th. Here's how.
Beautiful shot of Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Much more comfortable night tonight than it was last night. Pilar has to dive back in. Diaz is the batter with Pilar at first.
Taking a long look at Louis Rivera, the third base coach.
Kastner does a good job of unloading that ball in a hurry. Tough to get a jump on. There goes Pilar. The hit and run was on, and it's popped up to left. Machado, the shortstop, goes out, makes the catch. They had the runner moving, but Diaz popped it up.
Yeah, you figure they were going to try something after that leadoff runner. They had their best base runner over at first base, their fastest runner. John Gibbons electing to hit and run on a 1-0 count, but unfortunately, Aledmys Diaz couldn't get the ball on the ground.
Back to the top of the order, Curtis Granderson is 1 for 2. He's walked, singled, and struck out. Called out on strikes in the 5th.
You might see a straight steal now from Pilar at some point in this at-bat. Trying to get into scoring position for Granderson. If he gets thrown out, Granderson leads off next inning.
Aaron Sanchez has been terrific tonight. Granderson hits it in the air. Santander, the right fielder, makes the catch. Andrew Kastner is able to negate the impact of a leadoff single. Aaron Sanchez will face Scope, Jones, and Alvarez. Sanchez have been terrific, and Aaron has thrown 6 innings. He's not allowed a hit. He's walked 3, he's hit a batter, and he's struck out 3, and he's only thrown 66 pitches. A terrific outing to this point for sure, and he's been under control. His tempo has been terrific. His rhythm has been great.
And you know he's fresh too after throwing just 66 pitches through the first 6 innings. Third time through now, the meat of the order.
Scope takes the first pitch, fastball. Scope was hit by a pitch and reached on a fielder's choice. 84, that's the slowest changeup we have seen. Really starting to get a feel for it.
Yeah, he's softening it up. He's getting a feel for that changeup. And if he can consistently use it. Wow.
Another strikeout for Sanchez, and we're going to take a look at Adam Jones's previous at-bat before he steps in here in the 7th.
You know what he's doing tonight, Aaron Sanchez, is he's pitching 3 pitches down and away. 1, 2, and 3. So the batter starts leaning out over the plate. What do? You come up and in, and you get some soft contact off the bat of a pretty darn good hitter in Adam Jones. That's pitching. And you're not lighting up the radar gun. You're just concentrating on making your pitches, and you're executing.
Fly ball to center. Pearson, right center, is there and makes the catch. Jones retired on one pitch. She is now 3 for 29 against Aaron Sanchez. Pedro Alvarez. He's the DH, the switch hitter. Alvarez struck out. He was called out on strikes in the 5th.
I think he's going to be looking for a first pitch fastball out over the plate right here.
I agree with you. Missed upstairs. Two outs. Wow. That's been a tough pitch that Sanchez hasn't gotten a call on. Martin reminded Marvin Hudson, hey, stay with that pitch, man. It moves late. Two and one now. Movement is tough for hitters. It's also tough on umpires. Sanchez has really used that changeup effectively tonight.
It's been a weapon for him, and he loves it. He loves what it does for him.
3-2 pitch. Ball 4. That's 4 walks now issued by Sanchez. A 2-out walk will bring Chris Davis to the plate. Davis has walked. He's also struck out. Pretty dramatic matchup here.
Well, this has been his nemesis in his young career, Chris Davis.
A scoreless game, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Davis has 4 career home runs against Sanchez. First pitch changeup.
The O's are a fastball hitting team. I think everybody in baseball knows that the Orioles like to sit on that fastball. They can turn anybody's fastball over. That's why that changeup has been so important, especially against the left-handed power hitters that the Orioles have.
Breaking ball inside. Ball and strike. Sanchez made his first career start here against the Orioles. Gave up a couple of home runs, including one to Chris Davis. But tonight, Aaron has had the upper hand. 1-1.
He has thrown 3-1 changeups to left-handed batters all night tonight. He does it again.
And got Davis to roll over on it. You can't argue with the way Sanchez and Martin have attacked this lineup. They've been terrific.
Yeah, look at the scoreboard.
Sanchez hasn't thrown a high fastball tonight.
No, I haven't seen one over 93.
Boy, if you ever had one in your back pocket, now's the time to use it.
This is it right here.
Three, 2 outs. Alvarez at first. There he goes. Little flare into center. Pillar's got a long run. He's going to get there, and that'll do it. Davis flies out the center. 7 in the books for Aaron Sanchez. The Orioles still don't have a hit.
Presented by Honda. You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
We go to the 8th inning. Aaron Sanchez, 7 innings in the book. He has struck out 4. He has walked 4. He has hit a batter. And the Orioles don't have a hit. A scoreless game. New pitcher into the ball game for Baltimore is the former Blue Jay, Miguel Castro.
Yeah, he was signed by the Blue Jays as an international free agent in 2012 for a grand total of $43,000. Made his professional debut in 2012 with the Dominican Summer League Blue Jays. Got to the big leagues with Toronto in 2015. He's got a heck of an arm. Fastball, big fastball, hard slider. And there it is right there against Donaldson. He's become very dependable for the Baltimore Orioles. They like to use him in multiple inning outings.
Last year, Castro made a start for Baltimore. He's still only 23 years old. You'll remember when he first came up with the Blue Jays in 2015, he was the closer. They had 4 saves in 13 appearances.
Yeah, they were these 2 young, raw, hard-throwing relievers the Blue Jays had in that bullpen. I remember that in New York. Miguel Castro and Roberto Osuna. And whenever you would see Castro, you'd see Osuna, and vice versa.
Donaldson called out on strikes. Run away here in the top of the 8th. Andrew Cashner was very good himself. 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs. He walked 3 and struck out 6. The Blue Jays were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, and Cashner continues to shine when he's got runners in scoring position.
He's got that leadoff batter on, and 4 of those innings just could not get him around. They have not had a runner to third base tonight.
Justin Smoak, 0 for 3. We have talked about it time and time again how these 2 teams are the 2 best home run hitting ball clubs in all of baseball, but when they meet up, they don't score many runs.
The pitchers take over. And a lot of times it's the bullpens. Both of these bullpens have been very good over the years.
1-2. Count is even now. Smoke. Smoke left his bat out there to help the umpires determine he didn't swing at it. Francisco pleading his case as Buck Showalter looks on.
What if he was asking if that ball was foul tipped? You see Smokey saying, I didn't foul tip that ball.
Smoke has 4 career home runs in this ballpark. Playing in his 31st game here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Off the plate. Smoke draws the 1-out walk. 4 walks issued to the Blue Jays.
Castro's fastball, he's thrown them tonight. I've seen a 98 and I've seen a 99. That was a 3-2 changeup at 91 miles an hour. He's got one of those wiry bodies and loose arms, and he can really fire that baseball in there.
That goes back to the backstop, and Smoke will move into scoring position. It'll be a wild pitch charge to Castro. Cisco didn't have much of a chance to flag that one down.
Yanks that ball past Cisco all the way to the backstop. Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position.
Solarte 1 for 3. He has one of the 4 Blue Jay hits. The Blue Jays have been terrific scoring late in ball games. In fact, they're the best in baseball, scoring in the 7th inning and later. They've scored 25 runs, 5 more than the second place Orioles. And they've done it against some tough bullpens, obviously.
Tough bullpens, and they've done it different ways. Coming up with clutch hits, coming up with late game home runs. 3-0 now to Solarte.
He'll get the green light. He's got a good eye at the plate, knows what he wants to hit. Ball ran off the plate. He had a good cut.
He was anticipating a strike from Castro there, and he's not giving into it. Got a couple of right-handers coming up after Solarte. You got first base open. I don't think he's going to give him anything to hit or try to give him anything to hit.
There's a base hit out into right field. Smoke held up for a moment, and he'll have to stop at third. Ball was hit off the end of the bat. Now it gets away and goes into the dugout. So Smoke's going to come in to score. Castro was backing up the play, but he didn't move very quickly. That ball got past him and went into the Blue Jays dugout, the first run of the ball game.
You know, that's why you have to know who the runner is if you're playing defense. There was no way that Smokey was going to be able to score on that base hit to right field. Santander comes up firing after the base hit. Smoke has to hold it, make sure. Now the ball's going to get away. It's a short hop. Cisco comes up to try and get it. It rolls into the dugout. And depending on where Solarte was, he should get 2 bases after that ball went into the dugout. And I think that's what John Gibbons is talking about. That's off the glove of Cisco. He tries to smother it. Smoke's going to score. And the ruling is wherever the base runner was, 2 bases when it's out of play. Right now, they're just awarding him second, but he was around first base.
Watch where he is. Solarte is on the bag there and standing there, and then the ball goes into the dugout. You're right, he should be awarded third base.
They originally gave him third base. The home plate umpire was saying third, and then they said, check that, let's put him back at second.
So the Blue Jays have the first run of the ball game here in the 8th inning, and they have a runner in scoring position. Solarte with his second hit of the game. The run scores on the air by the right fielder. Steve Pearce. Foul tip. Blue Jays won last night's game 7-1. Had 10 hits. It's a 1-0 game. They have 5 hits so far.
It was a 2-1 game heading into the 9th inning last night. The Blue Jays busted it open with 5 in the 9th.
Pierce ahead in the count, 2-1. Little roller toward third. Beckham boots it. By the time he throws it, it's much too late. That's the second error of the season charged to Tim Beckham.
Second error of the inning by the Orioles. Normally an excellent fielding team.
So it's an error on the third baseman. Pierce will now leave the ball game, giving way to the pinch runner, Randall Grichuk.
Going to try and charge it and smother it, but he just doesn't get it down. He was out here early today working on that play, that slow roller play, where you have to come in and glove it and throw it on the run. That time he just couldn't handle the grounder.
Russell Martin over 2 with a walk. Marvin Hudson obviously not too pleased with Russell's reaction to that first pitch, but they have been working closely all night long. Ball on the strike. The Blue Jays have scored the only run of the game here in the 8th, aided by the air by the right fielder. Anthony Santander made a wild throw that got past the catcher and the pitcher and went into the Blue Jays dugout.
Castro's having problems getting that breaking ball over. He's bounced a couple. He's thrown one back to the backstop.
Pop up behind second. Infield fly rule in effect. Martin's retired.
So I think if you're the Blue Jays, just look for the fastball.
Two outs now for Kevin Pillar, who's had a good night at the plate. He's got a couple of hits. He's 2 for 3. Average up over 300 at 302. Aaron Sanchez has been dominant, and now Blue Jays have given him a run. Left field. Mancini makes the catch. The Blue Jays get a run. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 1-0 game. The Orioles don't have a hit yet. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio. 4 strikeouts, just 82 pitches. And Sanchez has been totally in command tonight.
He's been in control from the first pitch of the ball game to now. And literally in control of his body, in control of where the pitches are going. And he has really handled so far the Orioles. Randall Grichuk stays in the ball game to take over in right field for the Jays.
Bottom third of the order for the Orioles, and that ball is hit right past Donaldson. Beckham is headed for second, and he'll get there as the ball is thrown back in. Beckham hit a hot shot, looked like it went right between Donaldson's legs.
Should be an error on Donaldson. He is in guarding against the bunt, and Beckham, first pitch, hits it right between the legs, just like you said, hits the grass and stays down. Josh comes up. Beckham hustles into second base as he can't knock that one down.
It is scored a double. Right between the legs of Donaldson at third. Anthony Santander. That's a heck of a way to
How was
lose
that
a
a double?
no-hitter.
Went right between his legs.
Santander, the number 8 hitter, off the end of the bat.
He had some success again last night, pounding that fastball up to Santander. He just couldn't catch the ball out in front of him. 3 strikeouts and a fly ball.
Base hit to right. Grichuk's coming up, throwing. They stopped their runner, Beckham. Grichuk did a good job of getting to that ball quickly. First and third, nobody out.
That was a changeup. That was up. Santander has seen a few of them today. You can see it's up. Rips it to the right side and through.
Russell Martin makes a veteran move here, obviously. Emotions of a situation. Now Martin's saying, hey man, we still got the lead. Yeah, I know they got a couple of hits, but you got to pitch now. And let's refocus.
And you saw that shot, that quick shot of John Gibbons right there. He's saying, I want this ball game, so he wants the infield to go home on anything on the ground. He was pointing towards home, and he was telling his infielders, hey, anything on the ground, if that runner goes home, I want you to throw the ball home.
The Blue Jays are well aware how difficult it is to close out this Oriole ball club here in this ballpark. They won just 3 of the 9 games played here last year. Chance Cisco, the catcher. Blue Jays bullpen is up for the first time tonight. Cisco fouls that one off his foot. Sutton 1-0 is loosening up for the Blue Jays. I thought the trip by Martin after the second hit of the inning was perfectly timed. Obviously, Aaron disappointed giving up the first hits of the game here in the 8th. So Russell said, you know what, let me go out and help him regroup here, refocus.
Yeah, remember what we're here for. Try to win the ball game. So they got to get a pop-up, a strikeout.
The Blue Jays have had just 1 no-hitter in their history. Dave Steve on September 2nd, 1990 in Cleveland threw a no-hitter after tempting fate so many times. He had so many one-hitters, consecutive one-hitters.
Yeah, I think he had 3 total one-hitters where he took perfect games and no-hitters into the 9th inning until he finally got it in September 1990. Now you got to refocus. You need a strikeout. Maybe you see that curveball.
1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good block by Martin. Pitches thrown by Aaron Sanchez. Early on, first inning, he threw 10. 8 pitches in the second, 7 pitches in the third. That got him off on the right foot. Beckham doubled to break up the no-hitter. Santander singled to right.
Types of games and these types of innings. What a growing, learning experience for a young pitcher. Right now, he's searching for a way to get an out where those base runners don't advance.
Full count. Base hit. Beckham's in to score. Santander's headed for third. Richard gets the ball back in, and they will stop him there. So 3 straight hits by the bottom of the order, and the Orioles have tied it up. Cisco with his second RBI of the season.
Well, he tried to go in there to get that comeback fastball to get a strikeout, and I don't blame him at all. Fastball inside, and it came back a little bit and caught too much of the plate. Reaches back for a fastball on Cisco. You can see he's got a close stance. Somehow he's able to get to that ball and pull it over Smoke's head at first base. By the time Grichuk runs it down in right field, Orioles are going to be at second and third with nobody out.
So Cisco picks up his second RBI of the season. The Orioles have made a move. The base runner at third is now the pinch runner, Craig Gentry, who is running for Anthony Santander. One ball game. The infield has to come in now, and Trey Mancini's had 3 good at-bats tonight. He's 0 for 3. Hit the ball sharply all 3 times.
Yeah, 3 long fly ball outs.
Still nobody out. Second and third.
Still using the changeup effectively, and the Oriole hitters don't know what to do.
Just throws off your timing so much because he sells it as a fastball. Breaking ball popped up into shallow center. Pilar calls for it. Gentry's not tagging, as that's the first out of the inning. Good breaking ball by Sanchez to get the pop out. 1 away.
You've heard the term knee buckler. That was a knee buckler curve because Mancini's knees buckled on it. Just couldn't get anything into the swing after he throws him that curveball. Watch. There's nothing into it.
He was flat-footed. All he did was hit it with his hands, and he hit it straight up in the air. So now Manny Machado was awarded the intentional pass. They just waved 4 fingers. He's at first now for Jonathan Scope. The Blue Jays now playing a double play depth. Gentry's at third, the pinch runner. Cisco's at second, and Machado with the intentional pass is at first. Jonathan Scope. He's 0 for 2. Sanchez struck him out in the 7th. Fastball for strike 1. Ground ball. Second for 1. Back to first, double play. So Sanchez gets out of a tough situation in the 8th, but the Orioles tie it up. Sanchez goes 8 innings for just the 5th time in his career, but it's a 1-1 game.
Well, the talk of the night tonight is about Aaron Sanchez. He gets into the 8th inning without having given up a hit. This is ruled a hit as that line drive goes through the legs, through the wickets of Josh Donaldson. It was ruled a double. That's tonight's drive of the game. Orioles will go on to add 2 more hits and a run. Aaron Sanchez has been brilliant tonight.
What an effort by Aaron Sanchez. He goes 8 innings for just the 5th time. He and Gibbons are having a good moment in the dugout, but tonight that's the Aaron Sanchez that we saw in 2016, totally in command of the ball game. The first base hit, very questionable, sharply hit, but right through the legs of the third baseman. Darren O'Day makes his 5th appearance of the season. O'Day only threw 3 warm-up pitches. Under the new rules, it's all time as far as how many pitches he throws. Came into the game and he only threw 3 warm-up pitches, but his first pitch to Devin Travis gets the ground ball out.
He should be nice and loose.
Craig Gentry came in as a pinch runner. He takes over defensively in right field.
He was throwing a lot down in that bullpen before he was called into the ball game. It's 5-0 in his career against the Blue Jays. It's the most wins against any opponent.
We mentioned Aaron going 8 innings for just the 5th time in his career. He did it 3 times in 2016. Also once in 50. 2 pitches, 2 ground balls for Day. No problem with short warm-up. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership.
What an effort tonight by Aaron Sanchez. Total control. Good for him.
I don't think he overthrew one pitch during the entire 8 innings. Curtis Granderson. He's 1 for 3.
A little bit easier for a left-handed batter to pick up the arm slot of the right-handed side winding Darren O'Day.
Tyler Clippard and Roberto Osuna both warming up. The meaning behind this, if it's a tie game, it'll be Clippard. If the Blue Jays score a run, it'll be Osuna. Pulled foul past Tim Leeper down the first baseline. Both starters were terrific tonight. Andrew Kastner, no runs on 4 hits, 3 walks. He struck out 6. Sanchez took a no-hitter into the 8th. Gives up 1 run on 3 hits. He walked 5 and struck out 4. One of those walks intentional. That's a fair ball. No, it's foul. Just outside the line, down the right field line. Anderson making a bid for extra bases.
Looked like he was going to grab some chalk down that right field line on that pitch on the inner half. Right down the line, and it just goes foul. That would have been extra bases. Outfielders are playing deep to cut off any ball like that.
High fly ball deep to right. Get up, ball. Get up. Get out of here. God! Home run, Curtis Granderson. His first of the season, and Sanchez gets a run.
Told you that he's going to hit his share of home runs for the Blue Jays, and he picked a great time to get number 1 in the 9th inning of a 1-1 game. He just missed a double down the right field line. O'Day loves to elevate that fastball with 2 strikes to batters. Curtis, who was 1 for 3 in his career against O'Day before that at bat, unties it.
Two to 1 Blue Jays. Josh Donaldson batting with 2 outs. There's a base hit to right. Gentry over to cut it off. Donaldson with an opposite field single. One more look at the Granderson home run, his first as a Blue Jay.
Loves to pitch up in the strike zone with 2 strikes. And that's right where Curtis Granderson's swinging. That's a home run swing, and Aaron Sanchez digging that.
Home run number 320 in his career for Granderson. Justin Smoke.
Blue Jays continue to score late and hit home runs late.
They have scored now 27 runs in the 7th inning or later, most in baseball. Scored a run in the 8th and 1 here in the 9th. Smoke scored the first run of the game when he scored on the air by the right fielder, Anthony Santander. Smoke wasn't going to score from second on the base hit. He had stopped at third, but Santander airmailed the cutoff man and got by the catcher and the pitcher. Went into the Blue Jays dugout. The Blue Jays are 3-1 early this season playing on the road. It was a big problem for them last year, 34-47 away from Rogers Center.
Good eye.
3-1. The home run by Granderson, his 25th career home run against Baltimore. That ties him with Minnesota for the most home runs against one club. And Smoke draws a walk. He's walked for the second consecutive at bat.
How about that for patience right there? You want to get something to hit, but he won't throw him a strike.
Granderson's home run, also his 19th career home run here at Camden Yards.
Spent a few years with the Yankees, so you know he's played a few games in this ballpark.
Donaldson's at second, Smokes at first. And Eris Solarte has a couple of hits tonight. Had a good rip at that pitch.
He saw that one as soon as O'Day let it go.
Solarte hit the base hit to right that Smoke scored on. Obviously, he didn't get an RBI, but he's singled in each of his last two at bats.
I want to get a ruling why he wasn't awarded third base, because it looked like he had rounded the bag.
He had stopped and watched the throw.
And had gone back, so he was already at first base.
This is popped up left side of the infield. Beckham, the third baseman, calling for it. The Blue Jays are done, but they have taken the lead here in the ninth. Curtis Granderson, with his first home run as a Blue Jay, has given the Jays the lead. Sanchez in line for the win. Osuna coming on for the save. Granderson goes deep in the ninth. Sanchez is in line for the win as the Blue Jays lead at 2-1, and he was great over 8 innings. He took a no-hitter into the 8th and gave up 3 consecutive base hits in the 8th and a run. He threw 98 pitches over his 8 innings. He walked 5. One of those walks was intentional. He struck out 4, but he handcuffed the Orioles through the first 7 innings.
Yeah, one of those hits questionable. The first hit. So now it's over to Roberto Osuna. 5 games this year. He's 4 for 4 in save opportunities. Opponents hitting just 118 against Roberto. He has really come a long way in the 3 years that he's been in the big leagues.
Roberto Osuna with 99 career saves. Looking for save number 5 on the season, 100 for his career. And he's going to go through the heart of the order. Jones, Alvarez, and Chris Davis. Osuna is 23 years old and 62 days. If he saves this, he'll be the youngest pitcher to record 100. Pilar's got room. One away. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. Thank you very much. That's all coming up right after this ball game, so make sure you stay tuned. Pedro Alvarez takes the first pitch strike. Osuna's done a great job with his fastball.
See, that's the key for Roberto. Being able to get ahead, strike one, yes, but pounding that fastball. He had a talk at the end of last season with Darwin Barney, and Darwin said, hey, these guys cannot hit your fastball. Use it. Darwin's been around for a long time. He's seen some great players, and he was giving him a compliment, saying, hey, your strength is your fastball command, and you throw it in the upper 90s. Use it.
Pulled that one off the plate inside.
And I talk about him coming a long way in the years that he's been with the Blue Jays. He's just 23 years old, like you were saying, Buck, but he understands about batters, what they're trying to do to him. He can think his way through at bats. There's a good pitch there. He was telling me about the at-bat against Adrian Beltre when he saved the game down in Texas. He said, I could tell that he was closing off his swing. He was trying to shoot the ball to right field against me, so I started pounding him inside with my fastball. It takes a couple of years for young pitchers to understand what hitters are trying to do to you.
Alvarez fouled that pitch off himself. It was a cutter coming in, and he fouled it off, and the ball hit him, so it gave him a little extra time. 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Martin over near the Blue Jays dugout, but it's out of play. We mentioned Osuna is 23 years, 62 days old. If he closes out this game, it would give him 100 career saves. He would be the youngest pitcher ever to reach 100 saves. The current youngest, Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod. Rodriguez was 24 years old, 246 days old when he recorded his 100th save. So Osuna, a terrific pace early in his career. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Popped up. Diaz waits for it, makes the catch. 2 away.
Some of the other players on that list of youngsters who got their 100th save, young Craig Kimbrell, second on that list. Chad Cordell, Greg Olson, who used to pitch right here in Baltimore, and Uget Urbina on that list also. Osuna's trying to pass all of them.
High cutter for ball 1. Chris Davis 0 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, a walk, and a flyout. Boy, there's a good example of Osuna's awareness.
Yes, yeah, he understands again what hitters are trying to do to him. He'll do his scouting reports and he'll talk to the catchers and things like that, but he understands, and he's going to use what he has to get those outs. There's a fastball. He ended the game the other day in Texas on an indoor cutter. Right on the inside backup cutter against Chirinos, and he said, I could tell he was trying to go to right field also, so I was going to pound that cutter inside to him. And he picked up the save.
1-2. Cut on and missed, and he didn't foul it. Marvin Hudson calling a foul tip. Russell Martin looked like he didn't think he fouled it off, but it'll go as a foul tip.
Didn't appear that he tipped that ball.
Missed it by a foot. So we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This is the 7th appearance for, check that, the 6th appearance for Osuna. Two and 2.
Get it up.
Line to Travis, and that's the ball game. Osuna picks up the save. Sanchez picks up the win. And the Blue Jays have won another series. 3 in a row before the Blue Jays winning series, and they take this one 2-1. Curtis Granderson, the decisive home run in the 9th, his first as a Blue Jay. Solarte had a couple of hits. Aaron Sanchez set the tone for this ball game, and the Blue Jays win a great game here in Baltimore, 2-1.
Yeah, and the home run by Granderson made a winner out of Sanchez. He brought the team all the way through the 8th inning, gave up a couple of hits and 1 run. But the Granderson home run made a winner out of Sanchez, and that's how it should be. When you pitch that well, you got to get a W, and the Blue Jays close it out with Osuna with another save. And I'll tell you, 2-1 early on feels pretty good when you're facing the Baltimore Orioles.
Save number 100 in his career for Roberto Osuna. Aaron Sanchez improves to 1-1, drops his ERA to 3.66. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Ken and Ivanka.